I'm still wearing your ring like a habit I can't break. Moving through the morning with a phantom kind of ache. I pour the coffee black, just the way you used to do. Then I sat there staring at the chair that's missing you. I look into the mirror and I don't know what I see. Just a collection of the pieces that you used to love in me. The engine's still running, the lights are all on, but the house feels hollow now that the heartbeat is gone. I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm playing the part, but there's a cold, empty vacuum where I used to have a heart. The world keeps on turning, the sun's in the sky, but I'm just a shadow waiting for the night to arrive. And I'm just a body without a soul, a jagged little fragment that'll never be whole. I'm breathing in the air, but I'm drowning on the land, like a house made of memories built on the sand. The spirit took flight when you walked out the door, and I don't think I'm living in the skin anymore. It's a long, lonely walk to a far-off goal when you're just a body without a soul. The doctors say I'm healthy, that my pulse is steady and strong. But they can't hear the silence where there used to be a song. I go to work at 7, I come home at 5, but I'm just going through the motions to stay semi-alive. Your scent is on the pillow, your ghost is in the hall. I'm reaching for a hand that isn't there at all. I'm a library of us with the pages torn out, a vessel full of nothing but the cold and the doubt. If I could find a spark, if I could find a flame, I'd burn away the numbness and the mention of your name. But the fire's gone out and the hearth is made of stone, and it's a heavy, heavy burden being flesh and bone alone. Yeah, I'm just a body without a soul, a jagged little fragment that'll never be whole. I'm breathing in the air, but I'm drowning on the land, like a house made of memories built on the sand. The spirit took flight when you walked out the door, and I don't think I'm living in the skin anymore. It's a long, lonely walk to a far-off goal when you're just a body without a soul. Nothing inside, nowhere to hide, just the skin and the bones and the pride. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Just a skeleton lost in the chrome. A body, just a body without a soul. Without a soul. Vibrating against the midnight air, I'm sitting in the kitchen, staring at your empty chair. The clock is ticking heavy like a hammer on a nail, while the moonlight turns the hallway into something cold and pale. I heard the engine starting from a mile or two away, a low and steady rumble, there's nothing left to say. I didn't have to check the drive to know that you were gone, leaving me to face the gray alone before the dawn. It's a lonesome kind of music, a rhythm for the lost, counting up the miles and the bitter heavy cost. The iron tracks are calling and the sky is turning black, and I know there isn't any road that's gonna lead you back. And it's the sound of a distant train whistle crying in the dark, the final fading echo of a disappearing spark. It's a long and lonely hollow, a ghost upon the wind, the point where our forever had to finally begin to end. It's pulling all the pieces of my world across the state, leaving me behind the bars of this rusted iron gate. I'm reaching for the shadow, but I'm standing all alone to the sound of a distant train whistle, a low and steady moan. I can see the white steam rising like a spirit in the trees, as the cooling of the engine brings the spirit to its knees. You're sitting in the window of a silver moving car, while I'm still trying to figure out just where and who we are. Every click upon the sleeper is a heartbeat that I miss, the mechanical conclusion to our very last kiss. The further that you travel, the more the silence grows, until it's just the winter wind and the only thing it knows. Carry her gently, carry her far past the reaching branches and the lonely evening star. Don't let her hear me calling, don't let her see me break, just let the tracks absorb the weight of every last mistake. easy grave of everything we burned, counting up the bitter lessons that I never should have learned. It started with a little spark, a flicker in your eyes. Now the smoke is thick and heavy, blotting out the summer skies. I can feel the heat beneath my ribs, a slow and steady crawl, tearing every memory, hanging on the bedroom wall. You walked away so cool and calm, you didn't feel a cinch, while I'm trapped inside the center on a rusted, broken hinge. They say that out of ashes something green is bound to grow, but they don't see the timber falling everywhere I go. My chest is a hollow valley where the wind begins to howl, and the ghosts of our forever are on a permanent prowl. And it's a forest fire in my lungs, a fever in the bone, the hottest kind of heartbreak that I've ever truly known. Every breath I take is jagged, every word is made of soot, searching for a solid ground to plant a heavy foot. I'm burning from the inside out, a catastrophic glow, watching all the beauty that we planned start to go. It's a dry and desperate season, and the damage is too young to stop this forest fire raging in my lungs. I try to find a river, try to find a cooling stream, but the water just evaporates like a long forgotten dream. The pine trees of our promises are snapping in the gale, and the map to find my way back home is scorched and turning pale. I'm coughing up the I love yous we whispered in the dark. Now they're just a glowing embers of a disappearing spark. The canopy is falling down, the sky is turning red, and I'm grieving for the living just as much as for the dead. Is there any part of me that isn't made of wood? I'd cut it out and save it if I only thought I could, but the roots are all entangled, and the sap is turning black, and there isn't any rain that's gonna bring the summer back. Searching for a solid ground to plant a heavy foot. I'm burning from the inside out, a catastrophic glow, watching all the beauty that we planned start to go. It's a dry and desperate season, and the damage is too young to stop this forest fire raging in my lungs. Nothing left but charcoal, nothing left but smoke, watching as the last of us begins to finally choke. The air is getting thinner, the light is getting dim. I'm sinking in the embers at the very, very brim. Forest fire in my lungs. I'm driving past the exit where the willow trees turn gold, to the little street of memories where our future was foretold. But the porch light is a stranger and the key's just a ghost. It's the places we were happiest that haunt me now the most. I see the window of the bedroom where we whispered in the dark, but there's a for sale sign of silence in the middle of a spark. I'm a tenant of the highway, I'm a resident of rain, trying to find a shelter from this heavy, hollow pain. You are my four walls, you are my roof against the storm, the only place in this cold world that kept my spirit warm. Now the floorboards have been pulled up and the rafters have been sold, and I'm standing in a winter that's 1,000 winters old. And I'm just a harbor moment, no fire in the grate, just a soul left on the doorstep by the iron hand of fate. The world is wide and empty and the wind is blowing cold for a heart with no home, and a story left untold. I try to build a sanctuary out of snapshots and of songs, but a house made out of maybe is where nobody belongs. I'm a ghost in every lobby, I'm a shadow in the park, searching for a candle in a permanent kind of dark. The maps are all outdated and the compass is a lie, since you took the North Star with you when you left me in July. I'm a suitcase full of sorry and a trunk of used to be, looking for a harbor on a rough and restless sea. If I could find a corner, if I could find a space where I didn't see the outline of your disappearing face, I'd lay down this heavy burden, I'd finally close my eyes, but there's no rest for the broken underneath these hollow skies. Just a heart with no home, no home at all, no home at all. I'm leaving through the archives of the scars you left behind, looking for the metaphors I was never meant to find. I used to call it lightning when you call me on the phone. Now it's just the thunder of me being all alone. The ink is made of teardrops, the parchment's made of skin, a record of the losing that I thought was once a win. I'm rhyming every forever with the never in your eyes, while the moon sits like a comma in the cold and empty sky. There's a meter to the aching, a rhythm to the break, a stanza for every single breath that you didn't take. I'm bleeding out the stanzas, I'm weeping out the lines, trying to find a beauty in our terrible designs. And it's a poetry of pain, a sonnet for the blue, a masterpiece of misery I wrote because of you. Every jagged little syllable is a knife inside my chest. The I love yous are the footnotes that I never put to rest. I'm turning grief into a lyric, turning sorrow into art, but you can't fix the meter of a shattered heavy heart. It's a long and lonely volume that nobody wants to read, just a poetry of pain. And I'm starting to bleed. The kitchen light is flickering, a broken kind of verse, and the silence in the bedroom is a blessing and a curse. I'm looking for an adjective to describe the way it feels to watch the ghost of happiness vanish on the wheels. But the language is too heavy, the grammar is too old, and the story of our always is a story already told. I'm an author of the emptiness, a poet of the dark, searching for a fire in a world without a spark. Ride me into a corner, cross me off the page, leave me in the margins with my sorrow and my rage. There's no happily ever after in the ink that I've been using, just a rhythmic kind of trauma and a melodic kind of losing. Yeah, it's a poetry of pain, a sonnet for the blue, a masterpiece of misery I wrote because of you. Every jagged little syllable is a knife inside my chest. The I love yous are the footnotes that I never put to rest. I'm turning grief into a lyric, turning sorrow into art, but you can't fix the meter of a shattered heavy heart. It's a long and lonely volume that nobody wants to read, just a poetry of pain. And I'm starting to bleed. Close the cover, the story's over, the ink is finally dry. No more verses, no more curses, just a long and low goodbye, a poetry of pain, just the pain. I didn't leave a note on the bedside table. I didn't make a scene like I thought I'd be able. I just watched the way the dust moved in the light and realized I'd already given up the fight. The floorboards didn't creak as I crossed the hall. I didn't leave a single mark upon the wall. I just gathered up the pieces of my pride and tucked the I love yous deep down inside. There's no grand finale, no curtains to close, just the slow, steady wilting of a garden rose. I'm a ghost in the doorway, a shadow on the floor, quietly turning the handle of the door. It's a quiet exit, no sirens, no screams, just the soft, muffled breaking of our shared dreams. I'm walking away through the tall, uncut grass, watching the ghost of our happiness pass. No slamming of wood, no shouting of names, just the cold gray smoke of the dying flames. I'm slipping away while the world is still asleep, in a quiet exit with a promise I couldn't keep. The car engine hums like a low, steady prayer as I pull out the drive and I leave you there. I see a silhouette through the window pane, like a memory etched in the glass by the rain. You won't even know that I'm gone for an hour, until the coffee goes cold and the morning turns sour, and you look for my shoes by the front entry rug and find only the space where we used to hug. Maybe the loudest things are the ones never said, like the silence that's filling the space. And I'll bet it's a peaceful surrender, a white flag of grief, a hollow, heavy kind of just a quiet exit. Kept the radio on for a month or two, just to drown out the ghost of the thought of you. But the batteries died and the static went thin, and that's when the heavy walls started closing in. I'm sitting in the kitchen where we used to laugh, looking at a life that's been cut in half. The clock on the wall has a rhythm and thud, but it sounds like footsteps walking through the mud. I used to think the screaming was the hardest part, the jagged loud breaking of a human heart. but the noise of the ending eventually dies and leaves me with the hollow of your absent eyes. And it's a silence that lasts forever, afraid and broken tether. It's the sound of a phone that will never ring, the winter that follows a stolen spring. It's a room full of echoes with nowhere to go, the deepest, darkest no one will ever know. No more good nights, no more whenever, just a silence that lasts forever. I go to the market and I see your brand. I reach for the air but I don't find a hand. I start to say something then I catch my breath, because talking to shadows feels a lot like death. The dust is settling on your favorite book. I'm terrified of giving it a second look, because every word is a noise I can't make in the quietest part of this permanent ache. If I could scream until my lungs gave out, I'd fill up the vacuum, I'd kill every doubt. But the air is too thin and the void is too wide, and there's nowhere for a lonely voice to hide. Can you hear it? The sound of the end, a break in the spirit that no one can mend. It's in the hallway, it's in the bed, it's every single thing we never said. Forever, a silence that lasts, the lever. I'm standing on the border of a land I used to know, watching the lights of our city lose their glow. I've got no passport for the person I was then, and I know I'll never pass through those golden gates again. The language that we spoke is a dialect of ghosts, a map of the coastlines that I miss the very most. I'm a refugee of us, wandering the dark, looking for a home in a world without a spark. You didn't cast a stone, you just closed a heavy door and told me I don't live in your country anymore. Now the air tastes like salt and the ground feels like glass as I watch the shadows of our history pass. And I'm a soul in exile, a heart without a state, burying my memories at the mercy of the fate. I'm drifting through the static, I'm floating in the void, in the ruins of an empire that we quietly destroyed. No flag to fly tonight, no place to lay my head, just the hollow echoes of the things we never said. I'm a stranger heavy, tired feet. They still have a home and they still have a why, while I'm just a silhouette against a foreign sky. I try to build a shelter out of scraps of your cold, but the cold just keeps coming like a knife to the throat. I'm a citizen of nowhere, a ghost on the run, tracing the trajectory of a long dead sun. Is there a wilderness for those who've been cast out, a sanctuary hidden in the valley of the doubt? Or am I just a traveler who's lost his only light, destined to be wandering in the middle of the night? I'm a soul in exile, a heart without a state, burying my memories at the mercy of the fate. I'm drifting through the static, I'm floating in the void, in the ruins of an empire that we quietly destroyed. No flag to fly tonight, no place to lay my head, just the hollow echoes of the things we never said. I'm a stranger to myself, losing all control, the lonely kind of winter of a soul in exile. No home to go back to, no way to reach you. The border is closed, the bridges are burned, the lessons are learned, and I'm finally exposed, just a soul in exile. Searching searching for home. The clouds have been gathering since you left the room. A low-hanging ceiling of velvet and gloom. I try to be steady, I try to be stone, to prove I could handle the weight of the loan. But the dam in my chest has a hairline crack, and there isn't a prayer that can hold the flood back. One little memory, a shirt on the chair, and the oxygen vanishes out of the air. It's not a soft rain on a summertime street, it's the sound of a mountain in total defeat. The banks are overflowing, the sky's turning black, and I'm swept in a current that won't take me back. And it's a torrent of tears, a river of gone, drowning the memory of every dawn. I'm sinking in salt, I'm lost in the deep, grieving the promises we couldn't keep. It's a violent mercy, a cold rushing blue, washing away every footprint of you. I'm letting it go, I'm ending the years in a hollow, heartbreaking torrent of tears. My eyes are two oceans that won't find a shore. I'm tracing the patterns of us on the have to be broken, let it be in the tide, where the salt and the sorrow have nowhere to hide. Just the water, just the salt, just the flood, a torrent of tears, torrent it to We used to speak in colors, in a language made of fire. Every whisper was a ladder, every word a high wire. But the dictionary's empty now, the pages turn to white, and we've run out of the phrases that could get us through the night. I'm sitting across the table, watching your coffee steam, searching for a sentence that could save this dying dream. But the grammar of us has been broken by the years, and we're left with the punctuation of these saltwater tears. The I love yous are rusted, the forevers are all thin. I don't know where the story ends or where the lies begin. We're staring at each other like two strangers in the dark, without a single syllable to strike a little spark. Now we're just a vocabulary of sighs, the breath between the maybe and the final goodbyes. It's a language of the weary, a dialect of pain, like the sound of autumn leaves against a window pane. We don't need the shouting, we don't need the cries, when the truth is written in the hollow of our eyes. It's all been said before, under these heavy skies. Now we're just a vocabulary of sighs. There's a few for the relief that the fighting's finally done. There's a sharp intake of air for the battle's never won. There's a long, slow exhale of a heart that's letting go, and the quiet, shaky shudder of a grief I didn't know. I try to find the nouns, I try to find the verbs, but the silence is a garden overgrown with bitter herbs. We're fluent in the almost, we're masters of the gone, as minds, we drift into the quiet of a cold and gray dawn. If I could find a new word, a sound that meant remain, I'd scream it till the clouds broke and washed away the stain. But the air is just too heavy and the throat is just too tight for anything but the sound of the coming of the night. It's a language of the weak, a dialect of pain, like the sound of autumn leaves against a window pane. We don't need the shouting, we don't need the cries, when the truth is written in the hollow of our eyes. It's all been said before, under these heavy skies. Now we're just a vocabulary. That's the sound of the door. That's the sound of no more. Just the wind in the hall, just the rise and the fall. No words left to find, just a breath left behind, a vocabulary of sighs. I'm standing in the driveway where the gravel meets the grass, watching all the years we spent shatter like the glass. I took the box of letters and the photos from the frame, and I sat beside the fire just to whisper out your name. I thought that he would hurt me, thought the smoke would make me choke, but there's a strange and hollow mercy in the way the spirit broke. The sparks are flying upward to a sky that's turned to lead, leaving nothing but the echoes of the things we never said. They say that fire purifies, that fire makes you new, but it's just a cold disposal of the me that lives for you. Start to black and the forever starts to curl as I watch the ghost of us depart this lonely world. And now it's just ash on the wind, dressed in the wind, the gray remains of every word we didn't mean to say. It's the dust of a promise, the soot of a dream, the silence final ending of a long and steady stream. I'm reaching out my fingers, but there's nothing left to hold, just the weightless gray reminders of a love that's gone cold. Scatter me out, let the emptiness begin, 'cause we're nothing more than ash on the wind. The neighbors see the chimney smoke and think I'm keeping warm, but I'm just burning down the shelter that kept us from the storm. Your handwriting is vanishing, the ink is turning white, a slow and steady erasure in the middle of the night. There's a footprint in the garden where you used to stand and wait. Now it's filling up with winter is dying and the room is getting dark, and I'm looking for the heartbeat in a disappearing spark. If I could catch a handful, if I could make it whole, I'd glue back every fragment of my disintegrated soul. But once the fire's finished, there's no way to turn it back. You can't build a cathedral from a pile of velvet black. Pieces of the us that finally fell apart. It's in my head, it's in my lungs, the bitter taste on silent tongues, going, going, gone before the break of dawn. Just I watched the coffee cup slip from your hand, like we were losing grip on everything we planned. It's been an hour and it hasn't hit the floor, just like the way you're walking toward the door. The clock on the wall is stuttering in place, while I trace the lines of a disappearing face. Every second stretched out like a wire, watching the smoke before I feel the fire. They say it happens in a heartbeat, in a flash, but I'm counting every fiber as they turn to ash. I can see the goodbye forming in your breath, the longest, coldest winter of a sudden death. And it's heartbreak in slow motion, watching the waves pull away from the ocean. A million tiny fractures before the glass breaks, 1,000 little shivers before the earth quakes. I'm reaching for you through a wall of thick glass, waiting for the wrecking ball to finally pass. It's a beautiful tragedy, a cinematic fall, heartbreak in slow motion, the hardest way of all. Your ring is on the table, it's still spinning round, a silver ghost making a hollow sound. I'm memorizing the way the light hits your hair before you become just a ghost in a chair. We're mid-sentence, stuck in the wire underneath the heavy, unmoving sky. I'm losing you an inch at a time, like a long, slow rhythm without rhyme. message come and let it come fast. Don't make the agony of us really last. But the film is dragging, the frame is torn, and I'm grieving a love that's still being born. Into the dark, into the dark. It's heartbreak in slow motion, watching the waves pull away from the ocean. A million tiny fractures before the glass breaks, 1,000 little shivers before the earth quakes. I'm reaching for you through a wall of thick glass, waiting for the wrecking ball to finally pass. It's a beautiful tragedy, a cinematic fall, heartbreak in slow motion, the hardest way of all. Still falling, still breaking, the picture is fading, but it's taking its time. The slowest, saddest, cruelest cry. Heartbreak in slow motion. Yeah. I'm staring at the pieces scattered on the hardwood floor, like a map of every battle that we lost behind that door. I try to find the edges, try to make the corners fit, but there's a jagged kind of hollow in the very heart of it. I bought the strongest glue, I spent 1,000 lonely nights trying to reconstruct the us beneath these flickering lights. But some things aren't like porcelain and some things aren't like glass. They don't just shatter once and let the tragedy pass. I'm cutting up my fingers on the memories of you, trying to build a bridge that we can both walk through. But the dust is in my lungs and the grit is in my eyes, and I'm starting to see through our beautiful lies. Cause we're broken beyond repair, broken beyond the mend. There's no enough I'm sorry's to make it to the end. You can't fix a window that's been ground into the sand. You can't hold a ghost by the ghost of a hand. The cracks are in the foundation, the spirit's gone cold, and we've run out of stories that were meant to be told. It's a total loss, darling, for both of our sakes. We're broken beyond repair, and that's the way a heart breaks. Oh, I see you looking at me with that "can we try again?" But we've been down this road since I don't even know when. Every time we patch it up, the seams just start to fray, and we lose another piece of what we were along the way. There's a point where the damage becomes the only thing you see, a structural failure in the you and in the me. The gold and the kintsugi can't hold the weight of the grief, and trying is just a season that's turned into a thief. Let the shards stay where they fell. Stop trying to ring a cracked and silent bell. The more we touch the ruins, the more they turn to dust. Surrender the forever to the salt and to the mistakes were broken beyond repair. Sweep it into a pile, walk away, wait with a smile, or whatever's left of your face. It's over, it's done, there's no battle to be won. Just a charge, just a mess in a heart that's feeling less beyond repair. Sound of glass crunching under a footstep beyond beyond repair. Being empty, not even the footsteps I repair. Beyond repair. I'm standing on the porch in the bite of January, looking for a spark, something light for me to carry. But the garden is a graveyard of the roses that you grew, and the air tastes like the metal of a heart that's split in two. I remember when your laughter was a hearth against the night, but you pulled away the embers and you took away the light. I used to think the winter was a season we could brave, but now I'm just a sailor on a frozen solid wave. The mercury is falling, but it hasn't hit the floor, and I can feel my fingers on the handle of the door. And oh, it's getting colder than the moon tonight, looking down on a love that didn't put up a fight. There's no heat in the memory, no glow in the scars, just the pale, bitter distance of the high and lonely stars. You're 1,000 miles away, or maybe you're just gone, leaving me to freeze here in the shadow of the dawn. It's a hollow kind of silver, a cinematic blue, and it's colder than the moon, being here without you. I went to touch your pillow and I pulled back from the frost, counting up the minutes and the years that we have lost. We're two celestial bodies drifting further into space. I'm losing all the details of the features of your face. The sun is just a theory that I'm trying to believe, while I'm shivering in a sweater with the hole inside the sleeve. At least the moon has gravity to pull the tides along, but I've got nothing left to move the rhythm of my song. It's a vacuum in the hallway, it's a zero to create. How much of this absolute zero can one spirit take? Pale I've been staring at the glass for an hour or more, sitting in the dark on the bedroom floor. Your name is just a sequence of 10 little digits, but my thumb is trembling, my spirit fidgets. I remember the nights when the screen was a lifeline that kept me through the middle of the night. Now it's just a ghost I'm carrying around, a wire that keeps me pinned to the ground. If I press the button, does the memory die? Does it erase the hello and the don't you cry? I'm hovering over the are you sure, like I'm standing at the edge of a final door. And I'm deleting your number, I'm clearing the space, trying to scrub the digital lines of your face. No more typing and no more red, no more checking to see if you're getting what you need. I'm cutting the signal, I'm killing the spark, leaving myself all alone in the dark. It's a 5-second funeral for a 3-year climb, deleting your number, one click at a time. I know the area code by the beat of my heart, but I need to forget where the prefixes start. I'm tired of waiting for the pocket to buzz, grieving the person that I thought you was. Every text in the thread is a beautiful scar, a record of how we went way too far. But I can't move forward if I'm looking back at the blue and the gray on a screen that's turned black. One touch and the messages vanish like smoke. One touch and the last of the promises broke. The contact deleted is a cold, hollow sound, the loneliest silence that I've ever found. Watching the ghost of our history pass. I'll probably still dial it when I'm lonely and weak, but there's no one to listen and no one to speak. Just a blank screen and a heavy heart. This is where the real quiet starts. Delete it, delete it. I'm standing in the hallway, staring at the floor, where the light still makes a pattern by the bedroom door. I meant to move the boxes, I meant to change the view, but every corner of this house is a gallery of you. The kitchen has a ghost of the coffee that you made. The living room is heavy with the us we couldn't take. I try to close my eyes just to get a little peace, but the architecture of my life won't give me no release. I'm a prisoner of the drywall, a captive of the pain, in a sanctuary built for a sinner and a saint. There's nowhere left to turn where I don't see your face in the blueprints of this lonely, hollowed out space. And every room is a reminder, every wall is a sting of the life we were building, and the end of everything. The curtains hold your scent, and the stairs still hear your name, while I'm sitting in the quiet, drowning in the shame. I'm walking through a museum of a love that's gone cold, tracing all the stories that we'll never get to hold. It's a haunted kind of living, a permanent design, where every room is a reminder that you're no longer mine. The bathroom mirror is empty, but I see you in the glass, watching all the mornings and the memories pass. There's a space upon the nightstand where your book used to lie, and a shadow in the corner that looks like a goodbye. I try to rearrange the chairs, I try to flip the rug, but the floorboards only echo with the memory of a hug. This house was once a kingdom, now it's just a cage where I'm stuck forever on the very last page. Maybe I should burn it down, maybe I should run to a place where I don't recognize the rising of the sun. But even in the open air, I'd find a way to see the architecture of the house where you used to be. It's a haunted kind of living, a permanent design, where every room is a reminder that you're no longer mine. Dust on the mantle, shadows in the hall, the writing of the ending is all over the wall. I'm still here, but the home is gone, waiting for the color of a different kind of dawn. Every single room is you. I'm walking through the rooms of this hollowed out shell, mapping the silence where a miracle once fell. The walls are just timber, the floors are just pine, without the warmth of your hand inside mine. The garden we planted is buried in frost, a graveyard of seasons and the time that we lost. I'm looking for a reason, a spark in the gray, but the colors all vanish when you walked away. I used to find a shadow, a ghost in a frame. The world is still moving, the clock's on the wall, but I'm standing still in the wreck of it all. And everything I loved is gone, everything I knew is a map of the places I can't go without you. The always is broken, the forever is through. The sky is just a ceiling of a lonely dark blue. I'm reaching for the pieces, but they turn into dust. A kingdom of memories surrender to rust. The light has been stolen, the damage is done. Everything I loved is gone. I see your silhouette in the steam of the rain, a flickering image on a cold window pane. The music we shared is a needle that skips. I can still taste the goodbye on the edge of my lips. They say that the heart is a resilient thing, but I'm just a bird with a shattered stone wing, watching the horizon for a ship that won't sail, in a story where the ending was destined to fail. Take the stars from the sky, take the air from my chest. Since you took the part that I love the very best, if I have to be empty, then let me be cold, with nothing but the ghost of your spirit to hold. Turn out the lights, close up the door. I don't wanna see this house anymore. The fire is out, the winter is long, and there's nobody left to remember the song. Everything is gone. I'm looking at the calendar, the red ink on the page, a list of reservations for a different life and age. The flight we booked for Tuesday, the table set for 10. I'm crossing out the someday and the how and where and when. The tickets on the dresser are just paper in my hand, worthless little maps to a disappearing land. I'm calling up the florist just to say don't send the white, because the garden of our future died a sudden death tonight. The world is still revolving, people walking on the street, unaware the ground is open up beneath my very feet. I'm checking off the items one by one until they're gone, preparing for a tomorrow I don't wanna be on, because everything is canceled, the forever in the week, the house we never finished, and the man I'll never be, the anniversary in August, the I do at the shore. It's all just static noise behind a locked and bolted door. biggest plan of all. The dresses in the closet, still wrapped in plastic lace, a ghost of a celebration in a hollow, empty space. I had to tell the band we won't be needing songs. I had to tell my heart it doesn't matter who was wrong. There's a silence in the hallway where the laughter should have been, and a thickness in the air from the trouble we are in. We spent 1,000 mornings building castles in the sand. Now I'm just a lonely man with empty trembling hands. Refund the deposits, send the guest list back to bed, bury every sentence that we ever could have said. It's a bankruptcy of spirit, it's a total close of show, and I'm the only patron left with nowhere else to go. Biggest plan of all. No more see you later, no more call me soon. Just the dust settling in an empty room. Buy the contract, break the seal. I'm just waiting for the numb to start to feel. Cancel. It's all cancel. I built this kingdom out of promises and gold, a storybook romance that never will grow old. I put you on a pedestal, I carved you in the stone. Now I'm sitting on this velvet seat, shivering alone. The banners in the hallway are tattered and they're torn, like the ribbon on the dress that you never should have worn. I fought 1,000 battles just to keep you by my side, but I couldn't win the war against the things you had to hide. The walls are high, the moat is deep and wide, but there's nowhere for a hollow king to hide. I won the world, but I lost the only part that kept the beating rhythm in my heart. And heavy is the crown of a love that's gone cold. It's a weight made of secrets and lies we never told. I'm ruling over shadows in a house of empty rooms, tracing all the patterns on these lonely silent looms. They say it's lonely at the top, and God, I know it's true, because the view is just a wasteland since I'm looking without you. It's a burden, it's a break, and it's a slow and steady drown. Yeah, heavy is the crown. Heavy is the crown. Yeah, every memory is a jewel that's lost. A shine of vintage, bitter taste in a glass of expensive wine. I'm wearing all the forever that we whispered in the dark, but it's dragging me down under, leaving such a heavy mark. I'm surrounded by the ghosts of the us we used to be. while the subjects of my sorrow are the only ones I see. I trade the throne, the scepter, and the ring to go back to the days when we didn't have a thing, when we were just two beggars dancing in the rain, before I traded happiness for this majestic pain. It's a weight made of secrets and lies we never told. I'm ruling over shadows in a house of empty rooms, tracing all the patterns on these lonely silent looms. They say it's lonely at the top, and God, I know it's true, because the view is just a wasteland since I'm looking without you. It's a burden, it's a breaking, it's a slow and steady drown. Yeah. Yeah, heavy is the crown. Take the title, take the gold. I'm just a man out in the cold. My head is bowing, the sky is falling down. Oh, heavy is the used to carry us like a feather in my palm. We were a summer breeze, a deep and steady calm. But the air has turned to liquid, the light has turned to lead, and I can't seem to lift my chin or move from off this bed. The keys inside my pocket feel like anchors in the deep. The secrets that you left me are a debt I can't quite keep. Even the sun through the window has a weight upon my skin, like 1,000 years of sorry for the state that we are in. I used to run toward the horizon, I used to chase the wind, but I've reached the bitter borders where the earth began to end. Now every step is a mountain, every breath is a climb. In the gravity of losing you one second at a time. And everything is heavy now, everything is stone. The silence in the hallway has a pressure of its own. The rings on the table, the photos in the hall, they're pulling at the foundations until the rafters fall. I'm sinking through the floorboards, I'm drowning on the land, trying to hold a memory that's slipping through my hand. The world's got a grip that won't let me go somehow. Oh, everything is heavy now. The ghost of your coat is still hanging on a hook. It weighs more than the mountains, more than any word or book. I try to wash the dishes, but the water feels like iron, and I'm tangled in the wreckage of a tired, broken scion. We used to be the helium, we used to be the spark. Now I'm just a hollow man drifting in the dark. I'm carrying the baby and I'm carrying the why underneath the crushing purple of a low and lonely sky. Break me into pieces, grind me into dust. Maybe then I'll be light enough to leave this world of rust. But the more of you I lose, that you said. It's all it's all heavy, everything is heavy.